Hello and welcome to GameRomp Easy Mode. This is an easygoing podcast where we're going to talk about video games and the fun stuff that happened this week in our gaming life.
Yay.
Hi Deanna. That's Deanna.
Hi David.
I'm David. Man, oh man, there's actually a lot to talk about, but why don't I start with the first thing that I wanted to bring up, that I played a demo this week, early in the week actually, called Alabaster Dawn.
And what kind of game is this?
It kind of looks like a Super Nintendo action RPG game, kind of like Secret of Mana, I guess, but not really. But just like the top-down view, really gorgeous sprite work, except it's HD modern, so obviously doing stuff an old console like that, even a PlayStation wouldn't be able to do. But it's just that kind of sprite. It's just really gorgeous. Mm-hmm. I don't remember where I saw this game. I guess YouTube recommended somebody playing it or mentioning in the demo, and it was the first I heard of it. And I said, there was something about how the sprites in this game work. Now, this is a developer that I think they made Crosscode, which I've never played.
So, like, they have a couple of games under their belt already?
Yeah. And Crosscode looks more like a Super Nintendo kind of game where it's typical sprites. Mm. You can imagine like a sprite sheet with the characters or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But Alabaster Dawn kind of does the thing where they're sprites, but they're kind of like, how do I say it? They're like on a skeleton.
So they're split up.
Yeah, and they're animated. So like when the character walks, they like made a sprite for like her thigh and her like calf and her foot and her body. And normally when people do this kind of thing, it can look really ugly.
I think if I'm thinking of it correctly, that's kind of how they set up the sprites in Battle Cats, where it's not a full sprite, it's not animating the entire body all at once. It's these different parts that come together, and it makes this like kind of like wavy effect almost. Yeah,
I guess I never thought about Battle Cats, but
I'll have to show you some of their sprite sheets.
Especially for some of the bigger units, like the babes, the waifus, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see how.
But even on the smaller cats, I was trying to make the welcome sign for a Twitch alert thing. And even that has a sprite sheet, and the little like stick figure character on the bottom is separate than the sign, but the sign also has like two different parts of itself. So that it moves in that like, wavy kind of way.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, there's been games that have done this before, obviously. Like, I guess Battle Cats. Battle Cats looks really good in that regard, I guess. But
I agree.
There's been like I think the first game that I remember doing this off the top of my head. I mean, I guess some Flash games, but remember Scribblenauts?
Oh yeah, okay, that one. I was thinking, what was the game? I think it was like a dragon type game that. The anatomy of everyone was weird, but like the women were really egregious, which I guess is typical.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Dragon. Oh, I don't remember the other name.
But yeah, it had like a dwarf guy, and he was really stout or something. Well, I mean, I guess it's dwarf, but
I don't know if that one used that kind of style. I mean, maybe.
Maybe it was just the.
Because they ended up making if I'm remembering right, they were the same people that made Unicorn Overlord.
Yeah, I think so.
And I don't remember if Unicorn Overlord did that with their sprites. Maybe.
It did seem to have that, I don't know. All I can think of is calling it wavy, but...
But anyways, back to...
the main topic.
Alabaster Dawn. They've done it in a way where when I first saw the game in motion, I was like, holy cow, look at those sprites. Look how fluid the animation on those sprites are. I thought it was just one sprite. But then as I was playing it, I can kind of see what they were doing. But like, it's actually really gorgeous in motion. And
you'll have to show me.
It's so fluid. It's kind of like an action RPG. You're controlling this girl. I forget her name. Is her name Alabaster? I don't know. You get the little what are those little water rats? Capybara?
Oh yeah, capybara.
Yeah, like a little capybara friend who's like a spirit or something. it's like a messenger of the god. I'm not going to go too much into the story spoilers. I mean, it's a demo. There's not many spoilers, but like this is the one you saw where you're like, oh, it's Nyx again, because like Nyx attacked this world and like turned it into like this wasteland, and you're like, you're fighting back against these little things, and
Yeah, I do remember that. Like, oh yeah.
yeah. Funny how she pops up again. Anyway, I really enjoyed the demo, and it's funny because like when I first saw this game, I'm like, oh, it's the people that made Crosscode. I wasn't really interested in trying that, but then I saw like this in motion, and then I played it, and it just blew me away. It was really good.
So you would recommend it?
Yeah, and there's a demo on Steam. So Alabaster Dawn, it's a great demo. It starts off like in the beginning of the game, and you go through the little tutorial section, and you get to like one of the first bosses, and then you see it's kind of got the thing where like, oh, you're freeing people, and they're starting up a camp, but then it kind of fast forwards you a bit to like, this part's going to be in the different part of the game, but we're just going to skip you ahead so you can see one of the dungeons. So your progress will carry over from the first boss if you wanted to, but everything else is just bonus content to play more demo.
That's cool.
But it seems like they're going to have like a town building kind of thing, or like one of the early quests was like, oh, helping the lumberjacks because they need to go to where there's still trees, but there's monsters around it. And you can see like when you're in the demo, like the town, it's just tents and like building stuff. But then like after the time skip in the demo, it's like it's built up. So it's like, I guess there's going to be like, oh, you have to restoring these towns. And
is it going to be vaguely... What was that game where you were playing an angel, like Black and White or something?
Oh, ActRaiser?
ActRaiser.
No.
That there was like platforming at one point and then you go in to build the town or something.
I don't know how deep the building is going to get because that wasn't part of the demo.
Oh, okay.
There was just the one quest where like, oh, we got to help the farmer, or we got to help the lumberjack or whatever. But it seems like, yeah, town building will be a thing. I don't know how deep that'll get. Maybe it's just you're doing quests and then NPCs take care of it. The action is really fun because like you have like your standard melee attack, and in the demo you got like, you can either have a sword, later on you unlock like a hammer, but then you also have a ranged attack, and in the demo it was like a crossbow, and later on in the time skip you get like this chakram thing, which is like the circle boomerang thing.
Okay.
And like it's just so fluid between how you like switch back and forth, and like you can dodge, you can parry, you can guard. It's for like a 2D game like this, I don't know.
Pretty deep combat wise.
Yeah, it was really fun. Like I don't know if there's been other games like this. I mean, clearly they made Crosscode, so maybe that game was like that, but just between the look of the game, how it's animated, and just how fun it was to play, I was just completely sold on with the demo.
Sweet.
Going from like one day never hearing of this before, playing the demo and being like, holy cow, I will buy this game.
And this is an indie dev?
I think so, yeah.
That's cool. More indie devs.
Yeah, so Alabaster Dawn was a huge surprise that came out of nowhere for me. And I beat the demo, beat the second part of the demo, and yeah, I'll be excited for more, but that's all there was to that. There was some interesting Fallout news.
Okay.
Before we get to the big thing.
Yeah, might as well get the small stuff out.
So the Fallout Season 2 is going to hit Amazon in December. Apparently, Bethesda had been teasing, we're bringing the biggest update to Fallout 76 yet. This is bigger than the other ones ever. And that's great because, like, I still haven't gone back to experience the new land that they added before.
Now, is this new update, or was it the last update that brought fishing?
That was the last update.
Okay.
So that's in the game already now. But before that, there was they added an area south of West Virginia. I don't know where it is, like in real world terms.
Well, south of West Virginia is like more of just Virginia, right?
I guess. But if there's like a town name or a region or whatever, I don't know what it is. But the new one that they're adding is to the west, and it's over the river and into Ohio. So for the first time ever, Ohio is going to be in Fallout.
Oh, looky them. They couldn't add Rhode Island to Massachusetts, but...
Well, that is a whole other thing, but they were planning to originally. Sadly, yeah, that didn't end up happening. That would have been cool, but I'm pretty sure we talked about that a few times. So yeah, they're going to add Ohio, and it's going to be just a continuation of the map. So there's like no having to travel there with a vertibird or whatever. It's just part of the big open world now.
I wonder if they're going to make it as like a big ol' adventure to cross the river or not.
Well, it doesn't... I don't think so, because the river isn't that big. The river already exists in game.
Oh, okay.
But when you get to I don't know if you can get to the other side or if there's like an invisible wall in the river where it's like there's nothing over here, so go back. But you can see the other side from West Virginia. It's not like a huge river.
It's not the Mississippi or something.
No, and even like there's one of the towns, I forget what the town name is, but it's where the Mothman Museum is. There's a bridge that goes over the river.
Oh, okay.
And it's like broken, but I guess that's going to be one way to get into
Maybe
the new
you have
area.
to fix it.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like this area is gonna. I don't know what kind of environments Ohio is known for. When I picture Ohio in my mind, it is just Columbus, Ohio, and that's like all I can think of. I can't really think of what like Ohio looks like. But in the game, it looks like they're going to be doing a lot of rocky terrain and a lot of like deserty area, dry and sandy. I don't know if that's because of like a thing that happened in that area. Maybe they got hit with a nuke or something and like all their vegetation is dead. It's a lot more deserty than West Virginia is. There's going to be a theme about like some fiery mobs where some of the returning monsters and new monsters will just be like they're burning for some reason. So I don't know. That's going to be
Maybe they're like one of the trees that got hit by a lightning strike and inside it's just burning consistently. Those are always kind of pretty.
But one of the things that they're trying to do to tie into the TV show,
The biggest news.
is that they're bringing the ghoul from the TV show, Walter Goggins, and he's going to be a character in this. Now people, I guess some people might have asked. My first thought was like, how the hell is the ghoul? Why is he over in Ohio or
Because
even in
he's
West
cool,
Virginia?
So who gives a shit?
It's like the show takes place in California. We see him at Hollywood before the war and, around that area after the war. So I guess at some point in his like ghoul life, he decided, fuck California, I'm gonna cross the Rocky Mountains, go to Ohio, give some quests out for MMO players, and then go back to finish my work in California. It's pretty silly, not gonna lie. But it's kind of cool to see the character that, everyone likes from the show be in the game. And
I mean, do the canons don't have to tie together, do they?
they don't have to, but they're trying to make it happen. Fallout 76, I think Bethesda's like, yeah, this is canon. And then they said the same thing about the show. So it's just like, it gets to a point with some of these series where it's like, just let it be its own story and don't try to make it all canonical, because it gets so messy.
Yeah, it's going to become just not great.
And like that's one thing that people are already worried about for season 2. Like, if we see New Vegas, what does that mean for everyone's playthrough of New Vegas? Like, there is going to be a canonical ending now. Whereas before, it's just like, you make your story. That's all we're saying.
I mean, I guess I've kind of gone into what counts as canon and not canon in various franchises, but like, I'm also of the mind that these two things are just going to be completely different. These are two different universes. What I played in New Vegas is that own universe, and then what's going on in the show is its own universe. I don't personally have to tie them both together, especially if it's going to cause this little fiasco trying to do that.
Yeah, I guess. It's kind of like when we used to play World of Warcraft, and like, we would read the stories of like Duratan and like, oh, what happened when they had their son and like Thrall got taken and raised in the human encampments, and it's got all those stories. And then you play World of Warcraft and Thrall is just like in the city the whole time doing nothing.
Yeah, it's just like the novelizations are obviously going to be better because that's just the medium that it works for.
Yeah, true.
And what happens in the game is just what happens in the game. And if you want to try and put those two things and make a vaguely cohesive storyline, then fine, go ahead. But there's also going to be the people maybe more like me that are like, you know what, it's just different universes. It doesn't have to tie together perfectly. I don't care. I'll enjoy this story as it is. I'll enjoy that story how it is.
Yeah, I think that's
It's just easier.
That's the best way to go about it with any of this stuff, honestly. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'll probably, assuming I'm not playing anything else at the time, I've been wanting to get back into Fallout 76 anyways to see the other area, so now I'll have 2 new big old open world spaces to explore.
And if you want, we can try playing together since we actually managed to do pretty decently in Enshrouded.
I guess, yeah, if you want to.
I'm always open to try again.
Now the question is, do I want to restart a character? Probably not. It's tough. But anyway, that's enough of Fallout. It's an exciting time. December especially is going to be an exciting month for Fallout fans, and I'm a Fallout fan, so I'm kind of excited.
Yay. Is there anything else small to talk about before the big part of the podcast?
Did you do anything else this week?
Nope.
I know you played like D&D, but while you were playing D&D, I ended up playing Dungeon Warfare 2 on Steam because it was on sale for like $3.
I've never even heard of the first one, so...
Which is... I talked about Dungeon Warfare 3 on the podcast a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so.
Oh.
And yeah, it's the one that's basically like Orcs Must Die, except in 2D.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's that. Dungeon Warfare 3 was not on... I think it was like 10% off, but that's still like $17. Dungeon Warfare 2 was like $3. So I'm like, I'll just get 2. I just want a little bit. I've been itching to play it a little bit because I've been watching like...
That just kind of sounds that Dungeon Master 1 or whatever should be free.
The first one is I think like $2 and change, but I wanted to go for 2 since like, well, it's more up to date, I guess. But yeah, it's the same thing. You're there, a bunch of different little maps where like enemies will spawn in on one area and they're trying to get to your flame, and you got to put up traps, and like, and it's a tower defense game except without the towers. You're building traps, and like the explorers are coming in to like try to get to your treasure or whatever. It's fun. I mean, I've already talked about 3. It's basically that, except you have set stages instead of like a card game where you make lands.
Which one would you prefer?
I kind of prefer this, where it's like, okay, you beat stage 3, that unlocks stage 4. And some of the stages will unlock like 2 different stages. So like if you beat stage 4, it unlocks like 5 and 6. But if you beat 6, it unlocks 7. If you beat 5, it unlocks like, I don't know, 5.5 or whatever. It's like branching paths, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that seems easier.
Yeah, where the other one was like, you got to put down a card down, and like if it's next to a forest, it does this to the dungeon. If it's next to the desert, it does this. It's just kind of it's a big old hassle. I don't want to deal with hassle. I just want to get into the dungeons and like set up the little corridors and stuff. That's kind of fun.
Well, it's good that you got it for such a massive discount.
Yeah, because I mean the Steam sale. I don't know if there was anything else on Steam that I wanted to buy, but I figured, well, that's a good little cheap game that I can play whenever Deanna doesn't want to play Final Fantasy Tactics with me. Oh, which
technically, I'm not playing Final Fantasy Tactics with you. I'm just sitting here observing.
I mean, yeah, okay, so this is the big thing we're talking about. Final Fantasy Tactics came out, the Evil East Chronicles. It's the remaster of Final Fantasy Tactics, a PS1 RPG.
Yeah, before we get too far into it, should we put up a spoiler warning?
Sure, yeah. We're gonna talk about the first chapter. So when you start the game, you'll see the very beginning, like something happens, and then your main character's like, oh my god, it's that guy, I know that guy, is it really him? And then you go back in the past and like to see what happened between them, and, like 2 friends, Ramza and Delita. They're the main characters. They're on the cover. It's them.
Yeah, and when you go in the past, it's only like a year, I think.
Yeah.
So it's not too far.
Yeah, it's the prologue to the game, basically. I mean, it's technically chapter 1, but it's basically a prologue. So we're going to talk about that, and probably just like the first stage or so after, which is not like, there's not really any story stuff that happened after we got back from the past.
Yeah, this is a game where like we could talk about the story and our feelings about the characters and what's going on, but there's not really much to talk about the battles because I don't know, maybe that works for most games, but
that's the thing where we're gonna differ on opinions, because I can go crazy. We'll save the story spoilers for a bit, so you can still hang tight. But like, yeah, the thing about the battles is this is like Final Fantasy V, where the big focus is the class system, or the job system as they call it.
Well, okay, I guess in the talking about the fighting, it's less about the fighting perhaps and more about your like theory crafting.
Yeah, and you're strategizing and like going into a stage not knowing what's going to be there, and then like either getting your ass kicked or doing pretty okay, or sometimes like just getting lucky too, because like, okay, I've been trying to make different classes this time. We made a little thing where like, oh, we're going to make one character for each of us, and Deanna ended up being like a thief.
Thief Archer, as is
Yeah.
tradition.
And I went for the knight class, so I'm like tanky and stuff. But with this, just like in Final Fantasy V, you can like subclass. So my knight, for example, I don't think we've played since I grinded last night, but like I've given him. At first, he had like white magic, but he's not really great at that. So I'm gonna try to mix him with the mystic class, which is like debuffing magic, like disable or whatever, or blind or sleep. So I'm going to try to mix that like knight and mystic knight. So like when I'm not up in tanking or melee range, I can still cast a spell and like maybe put somebody to sleep or something. And your character is like, it started off as an archer because you need the archer to unlock the thief class.
I also go around trying to charm people to our side.
Yeah, one of the things thieves can do in this game is, well, steal. You can steal money, you can steal equipment, you can steal weapons, but you can also steal hearts. So like you've been really useful to, just charm the men on the battlefield. And like sometimes there was one battle on the hill against that recurring character Milalude or whatever her name is, and like she had mostly women in her party, but she had 2 male black mages. And like you got in there, charmed one of the black mages. The black mage is like, I want to be with Deanna, and like jumps up on the hill and starts casting fire spells at his own party and like hit like 3 people. It was great. So yeah, that's fun. And that's like the fun thing of like this, like how am I going to tackle this? Like, because originally when you were still like an archer, there was one stage where I was like, okay, we always got to bring Deanna and David. But you were just not good at that stage because there was people hiding like in a house.
Yeah, there was no real way to get the archery around the walls.
So I subbed out the Deanna for a black mage, and my black mage could hang outside the house and still like zap the people inside the house with like spells because they were all grouped up. It was really good. So that's kind of like the thing. Sometimes you'll go into a stage and be like, am I going to do okay? And like you just get completely creamed. But then it's like, okay, part of the fun is like, how am I going to tackle this? And like building your party to like, okay, I'm going to bring a black mage this time. There was the final chapter, and I'm not going to get into spoilers, but the final chapter of the prologue had a mission with a big tower. And when I first went into this thing, I'm like, I guess we were kind of low level, but we just did not do good that first time.
Now, you say you were low level, but you went out for like 2 things and leveled what, once?
Yeah, like a couple levels, but also just the planning of it. Like, okay, I know there's some black mages and a bunch of knights. So this time I brought an archer, and she jumped up on that tower and she just sniped the black mages from like across the map, because like when you have elevation in this game, your archers can shoot further. So it was like that's another fun part. Like, okay, my first idea didn't work. The second idea completely owned the battlefield, and it was awesome. And you were still good too, because like you were still the thief, and like
I was still charming guys.
yeah, still charming the other knights. And like they even like the charm I think lasts like about 2 turns, unless they get hit by a physical attack, and then they'll snap out of it. But like even
It
just
should last longer.
even if you just distract them for like 1 turn, it's still something. Because there was that last fight we did in the town where like you charmed one of the thieves, he ran back up. I don't remember if he did anything, or rather, I think one of the archers spent their turn shooting him instead of shooting us. So it's like it's still helpful. And being able to do that from range is useful, because like otherwise the thief is kind of a melee class.
And let me just complain a tiny little bit, and I might have a bias towards this, but it's kind of weird that I can like charm the men. Okay, fine, it's usually for like 53%, depending on, I guess there's zodiac signs for whatever reason.
The compatibility, yeah.
Which I can get that. Obviously, not everyone's going to be attracted to everyone of the opposite sex.
And also stuff like I think it is affected by your speed stat and like other things like concentrate. We can boost those numbers, but yeah.
Sure. And I can also charm animals.
Yeah.
So I guess you could see it as a simpler form of like animal husbandry or animal mastery or whatever, depending on what game you're playing. But it kind of sucks that I can't like charm women. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the same percentage as the men. But there could be, some variety in these numbers.
Yeah, it's a flat 0 for same gender, because like...
Boo.
You gotta remember, this is a game from Japan from the 90s. That was like not on their mind at all.
I guess.
But speaking of husbandry or whatever, there is actually a class called I think it's Orator, and they focus more on talking.
Well, yeah, that's literally their name.
They do have some skills where you can like permanently convince an enemy to join you, and also like tame animals, or rather monsters.
Sweet.
But it's not super good, honestly. It's kind of useful because that's also one of the classes that will help you raise your brave or faith, or lower it. Because yeah, in this game there's brave. One of the stats, or two of the stats that your characters have, is bravery, and faith. Now,
and I have the lowest faith of any member of the party.
yeah, which is funny. It can be, that's handy because like magic will generally do less to you, but at the same time you're harder to hit with positive spells like haste, and when somebody hits you with cure, you heal a bit less from it.
So I would do better with just potions then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can play an atheist character where they have like zero faith and like magic just is nothing to them. But then you have to like heal with items, and that's a whole other thing. The funny thing is too, if your faith is too low, and you can like get the atheist stat, like the magic does nothing to you. But if your faith gets too high, I think if your faith is over 95, once your faith hits like around 90, the character tells you like, I don't know if I want to continue fighting with you guys. And if his faith goes over 95, they just straight up leave you to go join the church.
Oh, damn.
So you lose your character. The same thing can happen with brave. If your bravery is high, that means you're great at physical fighting, at being in the melees. You're better at reacting for like counters or whatever. But if your bravery is too low, you can become like chicken and run away from the battles. And if you like permanently get it too low, I think like under 5, they will, at the end of battles be like, I don't want to fight anymore, and they'll just leave your party.
Now, do they permanently turn into a chicken, or is it just a debuff?
That's just a debuff for the stage, yeah.
Oh, I want to see that happen.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen, because it's such a hassle to get the numbers up and down.
Sure, but if there's something that's a hassle in a video game, someone has done it on you.
Yeah. Because there is ways to raise your faith, and one of the ways is with like the orator. He can like preach or like debate or whatever. I don't know the name of the skills, but
Unpreach.
there are skills that basically make the stats for that go up and down. And like I think every 4 numbers that it goes up, you gain 1 permanently, and the same vice versa. So that's a good way for people like, oh, my character has like 65 bravery, I want to get it up higher to like 70 or more. You just like keep doing that over the course of the game, and their brave will slowly go up and stay up. So so long and short of it, brave is good for physical, faith is good for magic. So like there's just so much to think about in this game with the classes and like how you're building things. And my knight has pretty good faith, surprisingly. It's like almost 70. So it's like, well, maybe he can like subclass one of the magic things. But then like your character has like some of the highest bravery in our party, but none in like faith. So you would not be good at subclassing for magic. But
yeah, that makes sense.
So it's like seeing what your characters are and like deciding what class combos do I want to do. Like one of the ones I'm trying to build is like an archer, but also mixed with the knight's skill of breaking equipment, so that they can use their bow and arrow to like break people's weapons and armor from a distance. That sounds really fun.
I mean, yes, breaking their equipment is good, but I like the idea of stealing it instead.
Yeah.
That way you get to use it.
Yeah, and that's what your thief will be doing. The thing about stealing, though, is that you have to be in melee range.
True.
So, yeah, that's like...
kind of squishy.
You're very evasive, though.
True.
There was like that last battle where I swear you evaded like 3 different death blows that should have killed you.
Actually, I mean, to tie it in, and it is kind of funny that I pick the same thing in almost most of the games that I play. Whether it's Enshrouded, I do archery. If it's D&D, I'm an archer assassin thing. If I'm playing... What was the other game? Skyrim, I do the, stealth archer meme. But in D&D, my archer actually... Now, we have, like, a Goliath, which is, like, a big, giant character. And he's, like, a warrior, and I think we have at least one warrior. I still have the highest armor class of the entire party. So yes, I have that thing where I guess I have a higher chance to evade because they the enemies have to roll at least a 15 or higher to even hit me.
Yeah.
And like you're rolling on a 20, so I'm evading most of the time. But when they do hit me, then I take like so much damage. So
Yeah.
take it as you will.
D&D's system for armor class is definitely pretty interesting, and where like I guess there's also other games where like even rogues or evasive characters could be like an evasion tank or something. But yeah, in this it was just like straight up luck that you were evading so many attacks. But that is an interesting thing about this game too, because like even for the knights, like when you have a shield, you'll sometimes see like them just blocking with their shield, or sometimes if you have parry, you can parry with the weapons. So like fighting a knight head on is a bad idea because like
He has two ways to parry you.
yeah. So like some of the bosses, I mean, they're kind of knightly characters and well armored. Like it's can be a pain in the ass. Sometimes you just miss because they parry or block or whatever. But you can also do that. But
So it kind of evens out.
yeah. I guess any last non-story spoiler thing about Final Fantasy Tactics to mention? It's just really cool. It's a beautiful game, and I love the little sprites and
The voice acting is good. I think like a lot of the side characters all have the same voice, but because almost all the women sound the same.
for your party members, like the non-named ones, because you get your main characters like Ramza and Delita and Agrias, the Holy Knight or whatever. But like you also get characters that you just recruit and you can rename anything. They'll have random voices. Yeah, it's funny because in the original game nobody had voices, obviously, and there would be no like shouting or whatever in the battlefield. But like when the character would die, they would go "Meow," and make like a little like scream, but like a video gamey scream. Now in the remake or remaster, there's like proper voices and yelling and stuff, and
Like, bleh.
yeah, it's fine. I guess I'm getting used to it, but I don't know. There was something really charming and funny about the old little like video gamey screams too.
Maybe there'll be a mod for it.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I got the PC version, because eventually we can mod it, and like I already love this game so much, so like I can't imagine like another playthrough with mods. Like, what if instead of only being able to bring 3 or 4 party members, I could bring like 6 or 7, and then like make the enemies have a bunch more too, or whatever else to rebalance it, because like I just want to make and use more characters. Like even in our party right now, I think I have like I had gone in and cleaned up a little bit, so I dismissed a few characters. But even still, like most of the time, it's like 5 or 6 characters, and you can have a party of like 150 or something. Not that you would ever need that many, but
Yeah, really, because even just the classes, there's how many classes? Maybe 20? No, 15, 20, something like that.
yeah, about 15 or 20.
But if you can only have like 4 characters at a time in some battles, sometimes it's 5. I don't know if how much higher it goes. That's still like such a small sampling of what all the different. I mean, I guess in a sense, as you go on, you'll have your characters be different classes for a different amount of time just to get certain skills. So
Yeah.
maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking, but
And also, there's going to be more story characters.
we're gonna give you all these choices, but you can have 4 at once. It's like
I think the original game like limited you to 30, so it was balanced around you having 30 at a time. But eventually, if you start recruiting monsters as well, if you have, I forget if you need 2 of the same monsters or if they just reproduce asexually, but sometimes you'll get an egg, and that can fill up your party when like, oh, there's an egg, what is it going to turn into? Oh, it's a chocobo. And like, yeah, like I guess now it's like we gave you more space than you'll ever need. So that's kind of good, I guess. Because in the original game, yeah, it got to the point where like, oh, my freaking chocobo laid another egg and is wasting a spot in my party lineup.
so why don't you just eat the egg?
So yeah, there's a lot more room. And even if you can only have like 15, 20, whatever classes, like you can have different builds for those people that get really super sicko into just like making a bunch of characters and
Did you
stuff.
say super sicko?
Yeah. So like, yeah, this guy's a knight, but this knight has like mystic magic with them. This knight is also like a thief or whatever, or a chemist. So like there's going to be different build possibilities.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm already like at the point of the game where I'm just like, ooh, what am I going to combine these classes? Like David's going to be a knight with mystic magic, and Nanami's going to be like a monk, but she's going to have like the dancer skills too. And still haven't decided on Deanna's subclass. Like, oh, is she gonna do ninja stuff, or is she gonna do maybe some monk and chakra stuff? So we'll see. And like my mages too. I had a white mage. No, I had a black mage, and he had subclassed a little bit into time magic because like you need to be a black mage to unlock the time mage class. But his faith was kind of shit, so he kept missing his haste spells. So I went back and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get my white mage, and she's gonna be subclassed as a time mage. So now she has white magic and time magic, and she's way better at it. So I'm making the black mage do something else for her subclass, and it's just like all this stuff. Like, ooh, what am I gonna combine and do? It's just like it's just candy to me.
Well, at least you're happy. That's what matters.
Yeah, I love this game, not just for the story, but also just like the gameplay. So that's why I was saying, like, yeah, I could talk about the gameplay forever. But that said, I think we will put the spoiler warning in here now for the first chapter. If you have played to the point where the prologue is over and they're back in the present time, then that's basically as far as we're going to talk. If not, and you want to see what happens,
go play that first and then come back.
Yeah, so this is your official spoiler warning, and I think this will be the last thing we talk about on the podcast. So thanks for joining us.
If you're leaving us to go see the story first.
And if not, we're going to talk about the story of Final Fantasy Tactics now.
Yeah.
Now, this is a game that I loved even as a kid playing on the PS1. The story blew me away as a kid. And that was with like a kind of sloppy translation. Now we have like an all new, up to date translation with the language is a lot more flowery now too.
Yeah, this is, I mean, even if you're not translating from Japanese, but obviously in this case we are, but just from a regular English speaking perspective, yeah, this is definitely like, I don't know, would you count this as Shakespearean? Or just like older English? Yeah,
they're trying to give that vibe. I mean, I'm not a linguistic major enough to know the difference, but yeah, it's definitely flowery. And to give well, I don't remember exactly what he says, but in the original game, at the very beginning of the game, when Delita takes the, I guess she's a princess.
Yeah.
And in the PS1 game, he just says, when Agarth calls out to him, stop. And he says, I don't think so. Blame yourself or God. If you're angry, blame yourself or God. And it's like, it's kind of a punchy line. But like now it's like a little more flowery, and he doesn't say God, he says Father. But
yeah, because there was a priest in there that like should have kept his eye on the princess, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it does make more sense that he's saying blame yourself or the priest for not like watching over her correctly.
Well,
but blaming God just seems, just
I think Delita is saying to blame God, but he's calling they're in this version the Heavenly Father. Whereas Simon is actually Brother Simon. He's like a monk. There's no way for us to really explain the way they speak. It's just, it's that kind of flowery. Final Fantasy 12 first started doing that, where it's just...
It's an older style, probably more medieval type.
Yeah.
They're almost speaking backwards in some cases.
But it's easy to understand. It's not overtly...
you translate it relatively easy in your own mind.
There have been some games in the past where they've done this kind of thing, and it's just like, oh, this is too much. But I think, especially because like I'm not reading it, like it's being voice acted, it really helps to just like feel like you're watching a play.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people calling it like a play, which is fine. I guess that makes sense. That's
the vibe I get too, for sure. But it's just, I don't know, it's so good. And like, I guess we'll go into the story now, but this is like the world where it's, at least for now, a lot more political driven stories. It's not like, oh, there's a big dragon monster destroying the town. There's a outer space god, Nyx, coming to destroy everything or whatever. It's just, there's this king, he's sick, he's dying, and like people are like vying for power. Like, who's going to rule next? And some people are like, well, his son should be the king, but like, who's gonna watch over this baby king? Is it gonna be like the uncle or like the godfather? And like, there's just all this political stuff infighting. And
oh yeah, because in the text voiced story bits, not with like cutscenes or anything, it does mention that like the child is like 3 years old or something.
Yeah, he's basically a baby.
Yeah,
and that's the world you're in. But at the same time, that's like none of our business, as far as like, we don't really ever meet the king. but we are dealing with the consequences of the world.
Yeah, honestly, I think figuring out who's gonna like help the baby king and all this stuff is like that's fine, whatever, and I'm sure it'll build up later in the story. But the biggest thing of the story to me so far was I wasn't actually expecting that the story was gonna be that the nobles sent out the commoners, I guess, or the knights to fight their war, and then when the soldiers come back, the nobles just like shit on them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, that's pretty blatant.
Yeah, because like the nobles have their knights, but then there's also like the common soldier folk too. And like I guess they just aren't paying them or taking care of them enough. So like there's a lot of soldiers coming back and they're just like in poverty and they have nothing better to do. So a lot of them do become brigands, and then some of them become like revolutionaries.
Yeah, because like you're gonna send us to fight these wars, and then we're gonna come back, and you're just gonna throw us under the bus. You're gonna throw us under the bridge. We're not gonna be able to eat anymore. We're not getting money. We can't survive. We're homeless. Like, imagine if, I don't know, in real life that the homeless vet situation was so bad that they started roaming gangs to like take out any politician that they came across. And honestly, they're totally fucking justified.
And that's the thing about the story too, because as you're going, you start as like you're at the academy, and they're like, okay, you're gonna be the next kids to join the knighthood or whatever, and we got some bandits that you need to take care of, and like the first mission is whatever. Even Ramza's like, lay down your arms, nobody will care if you die. But then like as you're going, and like at some point you have to rescue somebody from another group of brigands, and it's Argus, right? Is that his name?
Agarth? Something like that?
Sorry, my mind is going to be trying to remember which version, because in the original PlayStation version, like they it's kind of the same name but slightly different translation.
I'm gonna go with Agarth.
Argath, yeah.
Yay.
You go to rescue him, and like you have an option like, oh, we got to save him, or just take out the rogues, but we chose to save him, and it doesn't really matter. Your battle can be different depending on what you choose, but it's basically the same.
And it's funny too because at the time I was like, well, these people took this guy captive. They're probably going to kill him. It just makes sense that we should rescue him, right? Like, they shouldn't be killing him and the stuff. And then later on we'll figure out why that was a bad idea.
So he joins you, and he's like a noble. Well, he's kind of a noble from another house.
He's a low noble.
Yeah, and basically his family ran into some issues with his grandfather, and they lost a lot of their status, so he's trying to build it back up. He's like, oh, the Marquise was kidnapped, and I need you guys to help me rescue him. So we go back and talk to like Ramza's brothers, who are Zalbag and... You're right. Now that I'm talking about them, I freaking remember their names.
I mean, these names are whack, so...
Okay, Zalbag and Dystarg. Dystarg is like his older brother, and he's basically like the Duke's right-hand man. I don't remember the Duke's name.
Yeah, he's kind of taking over for his father, right?
Yeah, well, Zalbag is taking over his father. Dystarg is a strategist for Duke Larg. And Duke Larg is one of the quote-unquote lions in the War of the Lions.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like...
The Duke is the one fighting to, like, be the supervisor over the Child King.
Yeah, that kind of thing. He's basically on one side of, like, we're gonna, make sure the monarchy okay. And then, like, the other, Goltana, I think his name is, he's a different Duke, and he's like, well, no, I'm gonna be the one. So, like, it's basically nobles gonna fight wars against nobles to determine who's gonna be, like...
The noblest.
the puppet master for the baby king. So yeah, you go back to the town, and you're like telling your brothers like, oh, the Marquis has got kidnapped, and we're gonna, please let us go rescue him. And Dystarg's like, no, you guys are just kids, we're handling it. Eventually Zalbag is like, tells Ramza like, I know guarding the castle's boring, so if you wanna, this is where they are. Which is weird when I think about it. Why would he tell us that?
Well, isn't he going to set us up or something?
We kind of see the machinations here that Dystarg basically set up the... I don't know if you missed it, but Dystarg basically set up that rogue to kidnap the Marquise, because he wanted the Marquise out of the picture. But because Ramza rescued the Marquise, he's like, well, technically it was one of us that rescued him, so we can use this as leverage over his head too. So again, it's all just like political stuff, and it's like... what are these people planning and why? And like at one point, these brigands, I guess for lack of a better word, I think they're called the Death Corps. They are, I guess their stated goal is to end the aristocracy and make, a better land for the common people. But they're fighting, well-armed and moneyed nobles and their knights, so it's really tough on them, and it's not going well. And yeah, so some of the people in that corps are like, this is a suicide mission. Let's just get some money and get out of here. This is not working. So some of them have resorted to kidnapping to get like ransom. And then some of the people in the corps are like, no, this is not what our goal is, blah, blah, blah. And they have infighting. So it's like, it's fun to see like everyone's like, all these roles just clashing in different ways. It's not just one versus the other or good guys versus the bad guys. It's like there's these two bad guys and they have different teams of like good guys and bad guys, and like it's a crazy web of like political machinations, and you're just kind of like,
poor Ramza is like so confused by everything going on, and he like doesn't want any of this fucking fighting, but no one on either side doesn't want to not fight. It's just a mess.
Ramza is, I guess, a bastard child of his father, whereas Dystarg and Zalbag are like the official nobles, whereas Ramza's like half-blood, along with his sister Alma. So he's not really in the main circle. So he still trusts his brothers, but they don't really seem, at least Dystarg especially, doesn't really seem to care about them too much. At one point, Delita, your friend, who is a commoner, his sister gets kidnapped by them too. Alma almost gets kidnapped, but Zalbag was able to save her. But like Delita's just like distraught, like this isn't fair. We're not even nobles. Why would they kidnap her? Blah blah blah. Of course,
because they associate with the nobles so close enough.
They didn't even realize that. Because I mean, these are strangers. Like, well, we kidnapped a girl from their estate, so she's got to be worth something. And even like the leader of the Death Corps is like, this is not what we're doing, and like it's crazy. But like this leads us down to the point where like Agarth is like, why would we care about some common like housemaid? And he's just revealing himself to be this awful like classist prick.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, it's so close to what fucking happens in real life that it's so annoying when you see him acting like this. And like, again, he's like technically a noble, but he's like a low noble.
Yeah.
And then he's shitting on the common people in like the most fucking racist way you can without saying actual slurs.
Well, yeah,
oh my god, I just want to fucking beat him to death myself.
One of the at some point in the prologue, the brothers are like, look, if you guys want to be knights, fine. We're gonna give you a baby mission. There's like some dudes held up at this like these slums by this pier. We need you to go to like wipe them out. So they go down there, and it's like Delita, Ramza, and Argas, and they meet. I think her name is Melialude or something like that.
Yeah, let's just call her Millie.
And she's just like, you fucking nobles don't understand how hard life is for us, and like, we just want fair, blah, 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 but obviously you're not going to give it to us, so this is why we're fighting. We are going to make an equal world for ourselves. And Delita at this point is like, I don't think she's our enemy, and like, why are we doing this? And even Ramza too is like, okay, just, lay down your arms, we'll talk about it. And she's just like, you naive little fuck, what do you think you can do? You're just some dumb kid.
Yeah.
So Ramza is like, the pure little innocent heart kid that wants to be peaceful and like save everyone. But the characters, she's like, even if we stop fighting now, what are you going to do? Bring us to the negotiating table? Do you think your brothers give a shit about what you're saying?
Yeah.
This world is bigger than you or me. But then meanwhile, you have Argus, and he's just like, the things he said to her too. She's like, we're not animals. He's calling them chattel. Like, you guys are just basically like cattle to us. Yeah. And she's like, we aren't animals. We are as human as you. And he says the line like, you human like us? That's laughable. Like, you were less than us from the moment your father basically screwed your mother in whatever sewer you were plopped out into.
Yeah, it's
just I forget the exact line he
ridiculous.
says, but it's so fucking crazy.
He's like the worst human imaginable.
And it's at that point where you're like, holy shit, dude, this guy's... I mean, even before that, it was like, this guy's, a problem.
Yeah.
But like when they get back to the castle, Delita's had enough, and he like punches him, and he's like, I don't want to see you. He runs off, and even Rams is like, that's enough. Delita's my friend. Teacher's like a sister to me. I don't want to. Yeah,
get off my property.
Basically, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to see you ever again. So I guess they figure out, okay, teacher got kidnapped, so we're gonna go rescue her. We have to go around the back way because the main forces are attacking this castle from the front. So we go the long way around, and that's when we run into Millie again, and we have to, like, she's gonna fight to the death. Even she says, like, there is no laying down arms for us. There's nothing you can do to convince her. So they fight to the death, she dies, and Delita again is like, why are we doing this? What fucking mess are we in? We get to the point where we meet Wheatgraph again, and, like, God, we're skipping over so many cool scenes with, like, Wheatgraph and, like, his underlings, because there's that first time we see him is, like, in Dorder, and he's, like, talking to somebody. He's like, where's the Marquise? Because he knows, like, somebody kidnapped the Marquise, and he's like, this is not what we're doing. We are going to let the Marquise go because we're just drawing attention to ourselves. And, like, all the bespoke animations of, like, the sword fighting and whatever, like, of these, like, NPCs you see once. It's so freaking good. Like, when you rescue the Marquis for you meet Wheatgraph in that, like, cell or whatever. He had just finished, like, killing his subordinate because, like, he's basically saying, like, this was not our plan. We are not kidnapping people. That's not what we do. You let me go. You guys have him. Just back up against the wall. I'll be against this wall. We will let each other go. And of course, Argus at this point is like, no, we can't let you go. And Delita's like, calm the fuck down, man. It's crazy how much happens in this story with these little sprites, like from a PS1 game.
Yeah, it is good because, I mean, clearly you can hear how much David right now is really getting into this.
And I can't even explain it that well. But yeah, like, it's just every cutscene that happens is engrossing. And with the new voices too. Like, a lot of times with these games, when they add voices, I end up hating it. But I think they are perfect in this game.
And I will say, like, as far as the voice acting, I really gotta say that, like, the character of Millie, maybe this is just how she talks, because they all have, like, this English, I don't know if some of them are Irish, I don't know
like
all.
Some fake Cockney kind of accent.
Yeah, they're like the UK island accents.
I've heard people in the UK be like, oh, these voices are kind of weird and annoying. But then, like, everyone who isn't familiar with UK accents are like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah, so it might just be your accent, but you can almost, like, hear the character and how fucking sick she is with these noble people and how done she is with life. Like, she just sounds so almost bored and just, like, I don't know, there's something in her voice that gets to me.
She's really gruff.
Yeah, there's that too. It's just,
I don't think bored is the right word unless you mean bored of talking to Ramza. Because Ramza is, like, trying to convince her to stop, lay down your arms, talk to us, what can we do to make it better? And she's just like, you are a child.
You absolute moron.
Yeah. And, like, obviously Ramza's heart is in the right place, but he's just naive to the way of the world at this point in the game. So yeah, she doesn't last. Wheatgraph learns that his sister's killed, so he's also like, we finally meet up with him, and Delita's like, please let go Teacher. She's not a Beowulf. She's just my sister. She's a nobody. And he's like, we were always going to let her go, but, like, it doesn't matter because you guys. He wanted to fight Ramza and them to the death anyways, because, like, he's just on a rage because his sister's dead. Which, I mean, fair. You know, he eventually runs away or whatever, but they have words. You meet up to the next section, and this is where we meet Argus again. And then there's Zalbag there too. And I think Zalbag is like, look, we're not going to negotiate with these terrorists. Just try to shoot him. I don't know if he was trying to tell Argus to shoot the hostage necessarily, or just Argus did not give a shit. I mean, Argus doesn't give a shit.
I'm going to take the guess that he meant to hit the brigadier guy. But because Agarth is such a piece of shit, he intentionally killed or hit her and then hit the other guy. Yeah,
maybe. And he was, like, up there with Teacher, like, don't come any closer. I've said, you know, explosive powder all on these towers. I'll kill her if you come any closer, blah, blah, blah. She was his, like, bargaining chip, which was stupid. He should have listened to Wheatgraph, honestly. It didn't do him any good. He gets shot, and then you see him, like, scuffle away. And again, all these little bespoke animations. It's kind of like Suikoden, and, like, so many little animations that just, like, get shown once. It's so good. And that's why I prefer the sprite version to, like, the 3D that they did for War of the Lions.
Honestly, I'm just going to say real quick, I'm surprised that Deletus didn't just immediately attack Agarth after he shot his sister.
I guess it's because, gameplay stuff, like he was surrounded by knights, so like that the battle initiates and like
I guess, but I could just imagine he would just flip out so much that it doesn't matter who's around him.
Yeah.
He's gonna fucking kill him. Or at least afterwards.
It's kind of like the thing of like mixing gameplay and cutscenes, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately it didn't matter because Delita being a guest character just ends up always getting knocked out.
The AI is not good.
Yeah, like the AI is fine when like the NPCs or your enemies are using it because they're like geared up to be a challenge. But when they're like your party members, they're not super good. Except in chapter 2, I guess, when you get Agrias and Gefgarion because they're kind of OP anyways and they can survive. But yeah, so teacher dies, we have to fight Argus and like we end up killing him too. And at this point, even during the fight, there's like conversations and Deletas is like, I'm done with all of you fucking nobles. And it's like he's obviously speaking from a place of grief, so you can't be too like, why would you say that about Ramza? It's like he's just in a grieving
Not
moment.
all nobles.
Yeah, he's just like, after I kill Argus, I'm coming after you too, Ramza. He's just like in a horrible space because he just saw his sister get shot, so it's fair. But after the battle, he doesn't go after Ramza. He goes up to see his sister. He picks her up, but like the guy was right. He had set the place to blow up, and that's when chapter 1 ends. Like the whole thing just blows up, knocks Ramza out. The whole tower's on fire. We don't know what happens to Delita. I guess they just presumed him dead. So that's when like chapter 1 ends, and that's like the thing. Like that was chapter 1. This whole story of like your friend and the nobles and the people that are close to you, and like Delita and teacher were basically like family to Ramza and Alma. But like a lot of good that did them in this world.
Yeah.
And like that's what colored Delita's past. And what is he doing now? This is the first time we see him. Like holy shit, he's
getting
alive.
back at the nobles, I guess.
Yeah, he kidnapped a princess, and like what are his goals? Is he gonna be like a Jowie? What's gonna happen? And same for Ramza. Like in the prologue, he was just like naive in a way. Like, stop fighting. We'll talk it out. I'm sure my brothers will listen. Not knowing. I mean, even Regraph eventually told him like, your brother fucking set up that thing with the Marquis. And he's like, don't. They would never. And it's like
he's too trusting of his family.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. It's just I love it. Even like some of the lines later, even Argus made some good points in the final confrontation with him. Like he was telling Ramza, like, you were born into this family, whether be half blood or not. Like that comes with immense privilege. So don't talk to me about the suffering. You don't know what as much of a monster as Argus is. Like what he had to go through being from like a lesser family, or Delita. Like you have all this privilege and you have the path to power to do something. Because, like, at some point, he was talking to Delita, too. Like, Ramza was talking to Delita, like, we're going to make this work. We're going to fix things. And Delita was just like...
I don't have the power to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't believe him. And honestly, he's right, like, to not believe him. Because, like, Ramza's just being naive and like, yeah, we're going to fix things. Things will be better. And Delita's just like, the world is fucked. We have no power. We are nothing. It's the really depressing part of the game, I guess. And
yeah. And it's just even worse now because when that first came out, like, granted, I don't know what they were going through over in Japan and how that influenced them.
Yeah.
But just seeing all this stuff at the time now of all the shit we're going through here in the U.S.
Yeah.
It hits really fucking close to home and it fucking sucks.
20, 30 years later. It's crazy. It's such a good story. And, like, I will say, and without spoiling further chapters, that like at some point it does kind of like you get a little further away from the good political stuff, but like there's so much of that stuff in the game that is like really good. And that's like, it's crazy to think about like when this came out. Like I had just played like Secret of Mana and Chrono Trigger, and like those are great games with fun stories, but like it's like, oh, is this space Lavos alien monster coming to destroy the world, and we're the power of friendship to fight it. And this, to play this too, and it's so grounded in like just people being real people, because that's what we are. We're all fucking monsters in real life too.
People, what a bunch of bastards.
Yeah, man, it's so good. So I am really loving the remake, or remaster, I guess is a better word for it. And
Yeah, I'm enjoying it for the first time, so.
yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying the story, especially. I know the battles can take a while.